I think I finally got it all figured out now. I realize that life is about not figuring out anything at all, to be honest. I can say that I got stuff figured out, but honestly, when I try to look around and see anybody else that's got stuff figured out, they really don't, you know? And I'm starting to realize that nobody nobody really has anything figured out, if we're being honest. Like, we're kind of just winging our way through this thing we call life, and I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Like, there's no instruction manual or something, like, it's just kind of, you spawn here, and well, you kind of just figure it out as you go. And I think a lot of the time, my biggest problem was just trying to get everything done like the right way, right? And I don't think there really is a right way, if I'm being honest. Like, there is no right way to do anything, There might be bad ways um, that you have to learn on your own. So, I mean, like, I could take a simple example of me dropping out of school, right? Obviously, I'm not I'm not the only one that's ever done that, right? But what they promoted so much in high school was, oh yeah, you have to go to college to actually be successful, right? I wish they didn't really like promote that as much, right? I mean, even then, I don't know, like, because they kind of said something about the trades, but it was never like heavily promoted, you could say. And with it not being promoted as much, obviously it's not going to be a thought in my mind. Why why would it? So with that, I never really considered it. And so I wasted about 2.5, let me see. Yeah, just about 2.5 years. Damn, almost 3 years of going to school when I knew I knew I didn't want to do it in the first place. Like, you have some people that, knew that they wanted to be like a psychologist, or they knew they wanted to be a doctor to actually help people and actually, do something they were passionate about, like something that had meaning to them. Me, I never had that. Never had that feeling ever about anything, really. I mean, when I think about it, like, I don't know, I can't be the only one that had like that childhood job. Like, it was a childhood job. I was probably, like in elementary school when they have you. It's like the first day of school. They have you write what you want to be, and yeah, I got to keep checking this mic that it's on, because last time I literally recorded yesterday, and the mic turned off on me, and that wasn't too nice of it. So now I'm kind of paranoid until I can get the mic to actually connect to the camera like this, you know. But anyways, as a kid, I was basically, I remember I remember wanting to be a cop. I don't know why. I remember I wanted to be a cop, and my little cousin, she's 2 years younger than me, she wanted to be like a nurse, And it's just funny because, like, we're not like in the same thing. Well, I guess she kind of is, now that I think about it. Like, she wanted to be a nurse back then, right, to help people, and now she's actually in college, going to be a teacher. Okay, so her being a teacher is obviously trying to trying to help kids, right? She likes kids, right? So that's something she's passionate in, right? And she kind of knew this, like, like freshman ish year of high school. I never had a thought in my mind about about any job really. I mean, when they made me choose a bruh, oopsie, when they made me choose a major, honestly, I'm looking at, okay, I don't want to do more than 4 years, right? Because you got your masters, the doctors. I knew for a fact I wasn't going to do that. Okay, so I wasn't going to do that. But at the same time, like, I need to make some money, you know? I wasn't going to go in there and just do like a random, like a liberal arts degree. Like, you know how they have like half those degrees where they're not even like real degrees? It's dumb, but okay, here we go again with the dang mic cutting out again. See, that's what I mean. But what I was saying was I never had like a job that, or like a career path, you know, that I've wanted to do, essentially. Okay, so being like when I had to choose, when it was like high school, it was like 10th, 11th grade, 12th grade, it's time to, you know, make that jump, essentially. I was just looking at the money, honestly. Like, I knew I didn't want to do more school. I've always hated school, which is like crazy. It's crazy because I've always hated it. Like, no matter what had had gone on. I just remember being in like elementary school, always dreading going, right? And you say, oh yeah, every kid's like that. Like, no, like, I genuinely just hated it. I hated the whole structure of it. And that was probably why I was bad. Like, honestly, I remember I was always like, when they had desk, because you know the teachers get creative or whatever, and they put the desk, like, you have like the fours, so it's like 4 4 4 4. I'd always be the one by the teacher. I remember one year it was like a big horseshoe. She had everybody in the middle, and then I was like way off on the side. She had me. She switched me. I was over one by her desk, and then I was on the other side. I was like way out, like by the door. Like, the door's like out here. I'm by the door. Everybody's over here. Everybody's over here in this U shape little horseshoe thing. And but regardless, like, I just always hated school. So I knew I didn't want to do more than 4 years. So at least I came to my conclusion with that. Although it was kind of like consideration, right? Because all I'm looking at is the money. I'm like, okay, well, I got a bachelor's. It says if you do 2 more years of school, then you're gonna make extra 20 grand. Well, you know, eventually it's gonna pay off. Yada yada yada, whatever. So I go to school. I'm like, all right, what's paying the most? Top 10, top 10 degrees to get that's like the highest paying with only a bachelor's, right? And within that 10, I think it was high up there. It was computer science. So this is like 2020. I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna just go. I'm gonna get this degree. You know, I'll figure it out. Like, not even thinking nothing. Like, I don't know how they expect an 18-year-old to figure out your whole life right here. You know, and that's literally what they want. All right, wait, time you're 18, figure it all out right now, right? And as I'm getting older, I'm only 23, but at the same time, I'm realizing that I'm going to be 33 and I'm still not going to have it figured out. You know, I'm going to have a better idea, but at the end of the day, there's nothing to really figure it all out, I guess. Because, I mean, I just feel like at the end of the day, nobody has it figured out. When you think like top people, even, I mean, you could think like businessmen, they're obviously successful in what they're doing, but it's a whole bunch of trial and error. They got there because, you know, not everything went right the first time that they did it, right? They tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and failed. And I mean, that's basically how successful businesses are. If you just keep trying and failing so much, you know, eventually you figure it out. And then you have your whole new set of problems that you got to figure out. I think that's probably why Elon is so, you know, good at you know, like solving all these like big problems that he's doing with all the companies he's got, because you know he finds a problem and he just he's relentless, you know, just keep going and going and going and going and going. But I just decided to turn the camera on because I feel like and nobody has it really figured out, right? And obviously not even like looking at like top business people or anything like that, like just looking around you, like there's people in your neighborhood, people like in your friend group, family group, nobody got this figured out. Sure, they could give you some guidance on, maybe what not to do, what they did and failed on. So maybe, at least take that into consideration, right? But I feel like with guys, like you could tell a guy something, like literally on any aspect, uh, like money wise, relationship wise, we'll listen, but you know, I feel like we're more like hard headed. Honestly, majority of guys pretty hard headed. So it's like you hear the advice, man, she ain't good for you. Like, all right, bro. You kind of like brush it off, and then you kind of get burned. But that's kind of how it like sticks, right? Someone told you she wasn't good for you, and then you realize she wasn't good for you. Now it like sticks, and that's just kind of like one example with it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, figuring stuff out. I feel like when you get older, you got to realize that everything you believed up until a certain point is basically someone else's like perspective that you kind of just molded. Like you think even just all the way up to 18, you're molded by a school system, right? I really don't think anybody under 18 is going to have anything figured out, right? Majority, we're talking like regular people. When I talk about exceptions to the rule, stuff like this, when you're under 18, like you literally just believe everything that's kind of put into your environment. So the whole school system, believing that it's good, everything like that. But like just like friends, people that you hang out with, your interests that you think you might be interested in something, but then you realize years after high school you're never really interested in it. Like I don't know, stuff in high school. I just like the people I used to hang around, and like I just think like the music, music wise, we just always listen to like rap, right? So that kind of molded me, which I still do like, right? But at the same time, I like all kinds of music. And I really didn't tap into that side because it was kind of like society, like pressure almost, right? It's not really me. It was kind of like the environment I was in, right? So I can respect like the rap genre in general, but I was literally blasting it probably like 95% of the time. Like no lie. Like now, man, I listen to literally anything. Like I got all kinds of playlists. I listen like just at the gym because I don't even care. I don't need like hard, you know, drill stuff to get me going. I got like an '80s playlist, all them nice disco, like stuff like that. I got like a rock, that heavy rock, like chill, like dad. There's a playlist, divorced dad playlist, that type of rock. Country, you got old school country, new school, eh. But like literally anything else, and I feel like a lot of it is just spending a lot of time alone. When I spend so much time alone, I guess, I kind of figured out myself, I kind of build a relationship with myself, get to know myself. What do I actually like? What do I actually not like? Because leading up to getting out of high school, I just believed everything that basically anybody told me around me, right? They said school was good for me. They said there was a random car sticking his head out the window. So, uh, but yeah, they said there's all kinds of stuff, and even if it was like indirectly, like they would like with the whole music influence, right? Like sure, like it kind of like molded me, it kind of shaped me in a way, but it's not the only thing that I listened to, right? How it was back in high school when I was more around like those people, right? Like now, I still got people that I'm kind of around, but a lot of the time now, definitely out of high school, I spend more time alone than with someone else, and that I mean that's a whole nother thing right there. that's that's really figuring out yourself, you know. And I mean, I give credit to really trucking. If I'm being honest, like I got my CDL probably almost 2 years ago now. It's crazy. Actually, I was in school. I got a memory on Snapchat where it was like 2 years ago, and I took a picture of the truck in the yard when I was first getting my license. Because this was like September actually, so it's been over 2 years since I first like dove into doing it. But once I started working, like this is like beginning 2024, I was I was doing line haul. So line haul is basically, I don't even know, honestly. They just call it line haul. Basically, I was working at night and I was just going to different terminals for the company versus like city working in the daytime. Those guys drop off actually to customers, vendors and stuff that are open during the typical like 8 to 8 or 8 to 5 schedules, right? So doing line haul, I spent a lot of hours just thinking, like it was just so much time alone. And at the time I did hate it. Oh man, I hated that job so much. They treated me like crap. They gave me these dumb routes I didn't want to do. They didn't and doing line haul, that they only pay you by the mile, where I was used to getting paid per hour when I was doing city, right? So if something's delayed, if they're fooling around in the back, my truck's not ready, anything that's not under my control, I'm still getting paid for it. So I was chilling. Line haul is only by the mile. So I'd come in, they want me to come in at 8, but I could get a load literally at 8, or they could wait. They could have me sit in the cafeteria, the stupid cafeteria, which remind me so much of school, which I hate. I could wait to 8:30, 9, 10. Man, I've waited few times, multiple times, to like 10:30, 11 o'clock. Like I literally waste 3 hours not getting paid, and it's just cutting into my time, my personal time, because line haul, you do work more. Like once I would start at like 11, like those shifts would still be long. You would still do 10, 11, sometimes 12-hour shifts, you know? And on top of that, I was big into working out, so then that cut into my workout time, but then also it's cutting into my sleep time, and I really had no time for anything else. Granted, I was making good money. I can't say that was probably the most I ever made, like in like a weekly time, was doing that. But at the end of the day, I spent so much time alone, and that's when I first like shifted my music thing, right? Because I was always blasting rap, this and that. But then, man, it gets old after a while when you start listening to it hours upon hours upon hours upon hours, just every single day, man. It just got boring to me. So that's when I started to, let me just try something else, right? I never really even liked country to begin with, to be honest. I just thought it was dumb, and like it sounds the same. Really, every genre kind of sounds the same. That's why it's a genre, right? But regardless, I started, tapping into different stuff, and I guess becoming more aware of myself. But then a lot of time was just thinking, it was reflecting on my past, just kind of how I got to where I'm at, just in life, whether it was me going through school, or like that 3 year kind of gap. It was like a 2 3 year gap. Well, it was like 3 years actually. It was like a 3 year gap of me going to school, going computer science, wasting a semester, switching it to IT, doing that for I did that for a semester, and then I I went back in the fall and still did it, even though I knew I was gonna I knew I was gonna drop it, but I didn't have enough time because I really didn't figure anything else out. So then at that time, I wasted another semester in the fall. I kind of didn't even care about the stuff. I'm looking for a different thing. Then I tried doing dental hygiene. For the dental hygiene program, I have to do these other classes in order to qualify to get into the program. Then I finally do all them dumb classes. Then I actually get accepted into the program. And then like 2 weeks in, I'm like, yeah, this shit's dead. I'm not about to do this for another, what was it, like 20 months, almost 2 years, and then get a job that I'm going to hate. And they really don't even pay that much. I mean, they do, but they don't at the same time, like for what it is. So I'd have to waste another 2 years. I have to go more into debt. I have to waste more time not working. And at the time, I was going through kind of stuff with my family and stuff like that. I kind of needed my own money, to like support myself in a way. And so, I was looking, there were so many CDL jobs. I was thinking about getting like a sales job at the time. Like at the time I didn't really, know that I hated sales, which I do. I hate sales. But at the time I didn't even know it. And I just I looked, see there were so many CDL jobs, I saw how good they was paying. And I didn't want to be like the typical, over the road trucker, stuff like that. I was gonna just do food. I was just gonna deliver food. I was gonna work for like a Cisco or a Gordon or something like that, and just deliver food for a year, get my experience, and then drive local and stuff like that. So I'm home every night. And I found my one company. I'll just leave it leave it at that. And yeah, once I started driving though, I kind of just reflect a lot, where I came from, what led me to where I'm at now, to where I want to be in my future, right? And it gets me on a big thing about thinking too much ahead. But at the end of the day, like I'm starting to realize it now. I was always so big on my future, right? Even 3-4 years ago, I was big on, all right, man, like I'm trying to have a bunch of money, make sure people around me is taken care of, take care of myself, try to make sure I'm good in every aspect of life, fitness, relationships, money, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, like everything. I was trying to, all right, I gotta have everything figured out by this date, not even having no guidance, not knowing where I'm going with it. And then I'm thinking, okay, once I achieve this, right, these goals that I had of different, aspects of life, then I got it figured out. But the truth is, like, you never have it figured out. Honestly, like you can go to the gym, you can get cut, right? Let's say you're fat like me. I gained some weight during the whole pandemic, and I started going to the gym, so then it kind of turned like the fat into muscle in a way, but I still had a gut. And then like now, like I really don't have the gut as much, but it's like I can't go back into my old ways, right? The old diet that I used to have when I was just eating crap or whatever, because I can easily turn the script, right? I can easily get a big gut, you know, as soon as I lost it, right? As quick as I lost it. And yeah, so even then, like I got different things to worry about as far as, God damn it, these people. I yeah, so it's just different things in life, like you make so much money and then people they want to make more. I mean, obviously, I don't really know where I'm at with the whole money thing. If I just had enough to take care of myself, take care of my mom, have a decent car, I need a fast car. If I had that, I feel like I'd still kind of want more because it's like goals in a way, right? If you're not working towards something. So if I'm making, let's just say 200K a year, which is my goal, 20K a month is about 240 a year. If I'm making that, well, then what? Like, am I just gonna just drop off and do nothing? Like, no, I think I'd get bigger goals and just try to do more. I don't know, but yeah, I just decided, I'm out here. I don't know who's making all that noise. I hope it ain't picking up too much of my mic, but yeah, just realize nobody got it all figured out, man. So when I was younger and I'm thinking, man, I need to figure this all out by the time I'm 21, and turn to, 23, 25, 30, I'm never going to have it figured out, man. And really nobody does. So try not to be too hard on yourself. Obviously, you got to keep moving forward every day, right? If you're not growing, you're dying, I feel like. So always like to do better, right? I mean, because you can get that top physique that you always wanted, but I mean, you could always get a little stronger, do more on your weights. You know, you can get into like calisthenics. You can always do more push-ups, more pull-ups, anything, right? So when you don't got to figure it out, when you still, I mean, the main thing is just feeling lost in life. Like you don't know what's your next step going to be. Whether you work in a dead end job, whether you have a decent job, you know, you're trying to still just figure it out, man. Just take its course and be more present. Honestly, like enjoy enjoy the moment. Just don't get caught up in the moment. Meaning, you know, enjoy it, you know, like stuff like this. I mean, I'm out here just walking around, enjoy the little things, being out in like nature is what I'm starting to, you know, tap into. But I don't want to get caught up in it, meaning that's all I do. I'm out in nature 24/7, so I have nothing else going for me, right? So I'm gonna leave it off on that one. But other than that, I'm out.